Thank you for joining me today, July the 14th, 2024. My name remains Paul. I am titling my broadcast today, Migrating to the US, Useful Tips, Part 5B, Continued. I had started Part 5B a few days ago in my last broadcast, but I didn't finish because of the time. And today I would wish to very quickly enumerate the documents you need after you have gotten your student admissions. You have been admitted to study in the US, either for your first degree, your second degree, which is the master's, or your PhD. And so once the initial stage has been done, in other words, your admissions have been offered to you, you have been offered the admission, you have accepted it, because before you accept it, you would have made some acceptance fee, and then the school would have issued you with the right letter confirming that your admission, you have accepted it, and then the school has accepted you as well. And so having cleared all of those, but like I said in my last video, you must make sure that in your diploma you have 3 points. And for schools in Canada, they are strict on 3 points cumulative aggregate at the end of your diploma. But in the US, if you have a 2.5, they can offer you another program, and then you could make a switch after. So if you're planning to come to the US to study, you must work hard to make sure your cumulative aggregate at the end of your diploma, from whichever country you're coming from, either from Europe, from Africa, from Caribbean, or other parts of the world, you must have the required points, and that is 2.5 for the least, but the best is 3 points. You must have your 3 points before you can hope to be admitted to any of the universities for you to pursue your choice or your program of study. Having said that now, so I want to continue to read out some of the documents you need for your visa interview at the consulate, the American embassy in your country. Now, if you have been accepted or offered an admission to study in the US, so the second part of that admission process starts with you having to start gathering your documents for your eventual interview at the embassy in your country, the American consulate in your country. And so to make that happen, you must have one, your passport, your international passport from your country. And that passport must have a life of about 6 months left on it from the date of your interview. In other words, there has to be at least, it must be good enough within the next 6 months from the date of your interview, because if it doesn't have up to 6 months lifespan from the date of your interview, they're going to refuse you. Okay, so you must make sure that if your passport is has about 2 months lifespan left on it, or 3 months as the case may be, before it expires, please, it's advisable that you get a new passport urgently before your interview date. Now, once that is done, you now have to proceed to now process your Form DS-160. Your Form DS-160 is one of the very most important documents, because you got to fill that Form DS-160 on the website, on the American website, the consulate in your country. They must have that form online, and you have to fill it out online. And so you have to put all your personal details, your academic history, the course of study, why you want to come to the US to study, who is your sponsor. you must have to lay out everything and your plans after your studies. So it is in this form that you have to state who your sponsor is, the name, whether you're sponsoring yourself or you have a different sponsor, one or two sponsors, you must include their names, their information. Once that is done, now you have to post that from DS-160. Once you post it, the American consulate in your country will reach back to you through your email. You will get a confirmation page showing that they have received your Form DS-160. And that confirmation page usually will come or will have a unique name, a unique number that identifies you, is unique to you. And you're usually advised to print that form and keep, because on your day of interview, you're going to be appearing to the embassy. You go to the embassy with that letter as well, in addition to other letters or documents you might also need. And so you have to fill your Form DS-160, very important. And let me also advise you that if you have an agent who is helping you, is important that you proofread whatever the agent may have included in your Form DS-160. And as an advice as well, you can print that Form DS-160 so that you're able to have the information that has been posted to the embassy. Now, it's different from the confirmation letter. The confirmation letter shows you that the embassy has received your Form DS-160. Form DS-160 is usually for non-immigrant visas, okay? Now, it has all the information, your school, your sponsor, everything that is required is included in that form. And once it's posted, you will get a confirmation from the consulate, and then usually through your email, and you print it out. Now, you need to have 2 photos. Now, hard copy, you have 2 hard copies or 4 as the case may be, and then the digital copy. The digital copy comes on your Form DS-160, okay? So you have to have your hard copies, your pictures, and then the digital as well, because you need the digital for the Form DS-160. And of course, usually the standard size for your passport photo will be 22 cm by 35 cm, okay? It's slightly bigger or larger in size than the normal passport photo. And now immediately you have done that, you now proceed to now pay your visa fees. In most countries, the consulate will make use of some local banks. I know in Nigeria, they use the GTB bank. So other African countries, they also have their own banks. Now, if you're from Europe, you also have the consulate. They will, they have their own bank account where you got to pay it into. And so once you have paid that visa fee, and remember, the visa fee has to be is dollar based. And so your local currency will have to always exchange, once you know the exchange rate in your country, and that's fine. So you go to the local bank and you make the payment. And once you've made the payment, you get a receipt. There's usually a long number that is usually given on that receipt. So that receipt is important because it is proof that you've paid the visa fee. Once you've paid the visa fee, now you also will have to make payment. That is actually when you have gotten the admissions. You pay the CVIS fee. That CVIS means Student and Exchange Visitor Information System. Now, that amount you pay for the CVIS fee goes to the Department of Homeland Security, because they have to process a part of the application for you. The CVIS fee as a prospective student, you have to pay it as well, apart from your visa fee, okay? Now, both fees, your visa fee, your CVIS fee, you have to get the receipts. Those receipts are important. Now, after you have made these payments, of course, before this time, you would have gotten your Form I-20. Your Form I-20 from your school. That form is important because you have to go to the embassy with that form. and immediately your admission is released to you and you accept it. Now, during the process of your having to now prepare for the embassy, the school will prepare your Form I-20. Now, that Form I-20 is the school's admission or approval for you to come and study. So it includes all the information about your studies, including your scholarship, if you were offered any scholarship. So the Form I-20 will come from the school, but you have to give them some documents. They need to get some documents from you. What are these documents? Your bank statement, you have to give them. That means whoever is sponsoring you must give you those bank statements. And the letter of sponsorship, which means your sponsor will have to include that letter and send to you, and you will forward it to the school. Now, the school will also put the scholarship. If you are also considered for scholarship and offered any scholarship, they will also include it as part of the Form I-20. So, but very importantly, the Form I-20 is usually prepared after the school would have seen your statement of account, because they want to be sure you are able to pay the fees. And so your sponsor must make that available, okay? So after that, you receive your the confirmation, the Form I-20 from your school, and then that Form I-20, you have to print it and keep, because it's part of the document you go to the embassy with. Now, of course, your academic records, your transcripts, your diplomas, your degrees, depends on the level of education you're coming to do, master's or doctorate as the case may be. Now, the school would have considered all of those, but it's also important that you keep some of those certificates or diplomas, as you go to the embassy, because you might not know the questions that they will want to ask you and all that. And so there are also the need for standardized test scores. In some courses, you need proficiency tests. Now, most of the time, if you study in certain countries, like if you studied in English, they might not require you to pass the proficiency test for English. They will waive that. But if your language in your country is French or other languages, you will have to provide a proficiency score in your English language, because for you to study in the US, you have to know how to speak simple English, okay? Now, but in some cases as well, they won't waive. They might need you to write some tests like SAT for some medical programs, and also other courses that might require you to pass some bit of mathematics at certain level, okay? So you need to know that. So you must also prove evidence of departure, that you have something going on in your country, and that after your studies, you plan to return. Very important. If you have family, if you have a job, anything that shows that you have a link back in your country, okay? Now, the acceptance letter, of course, usually when you have been given an admission, the school would ask you to pay acceptance fee. So once you have paid the acceptance fee, then, they're going to give you a letter and all that. Sometimes also, they might also ask you for your birth certificate, but those ones are not very important, because you have included the information or in the form about your birth certificate or stuff like that, or your passport, has all the information about yourself. So the birth certificate is not very, very important, okay? Now, after you have sent across all these documents, now the embassy receives them and now allows you to go and book a date. And so because you are coming to study, sometimes they give you a priority date. In other words, they allow you to have an emergency interview dependent on the date when you plan to resume your studies. And so it's now for you, if you think that your resumption date is fast approaching, the embassy makes that provision and allows you to choose a priority date so that they can interview you on time. But I would like to also tell you that it's advisable that once you have accepted the admission, you you pay the school fees. If you can pay it in full, if you can pay it in part, it shows beyond every reasonable doubt that you're able to pay the school fees, okay? So that will help you in your interview process. And so you choose a date, and it's also advisable that you have a good specialist like me who will help you package it for you, be able to tell you how to answer the questions. If you have not traveled before, or if this is the first time you're coming to the US to study, it's important you know certain things before you go to the embassy for the interview. Okay, so what is important is that your confidence level is high. You are sure your sponsor will pay. You are able to demonstrate that. And then at the interview, you are able to stand firm to be able to take the questions. Now, as a student, you are supposed to be a bit wise and smart. So wherever the questions come from, you are able to deal with them. And then you must show the visa officer that you have some common sense, and you can communicate properly, and that you have confidence and you can speak simple English. All right. Now, once you have come to this point and you submitted all these documents, you choose an interview date, then you got to prepare. You must know all the information you have included in your Form DS-160. It's very important. Now, it will be funny. You appear for an interview, they ask you certain questions about the program, who is sponsoring you, you're stammering, you don't have the good command, you're uncomfortable, you are afraid. My day is going to be a long day. It's not going to be nice. I don't wish you that, okay? So you got to prepare well, which is why you have to be careful. The agent you're using, some of the agents will model up a whole lot of things and tell you lies, okay? So you need to reach out to knowledgeable specialists like myself, and then we're able to do the work for you. Now, I put out there my information. I just put my phone number out, my email address. I have it on my Facebook account, and then I'm going to put the rest on TikTok. I put them out again on TikTok, on Instagram, and on YouTube, so that you feel free to reach out to me and we can talk. So I need to see your comment. I need to read your feedback. I need to hear from you, because I'm working on my page to grow, and I'm hoping that you're enjoying the information as I come. Okay. Now I want to quickly also mention that the fact that you have done all of these does not necessarily mean that they're going to grant you a visa. Okay. You can do all the things right. For some reason, the visa interview goes south, or it doesn't go in your favor. You don't have to lose faith. What is important is traveling is good. Coming to study abroad is very wonderful, because it exposes your horizon. It gives you an opportunity to network. It opens your mind to great things. Okay? So it is very good. Once you have made up your mind, you want to come to study overseas, or in the US in particular, you know it could be challenging. Okay? And every human challenge has its own solutions. So don't feel intimidated. Once you have determined that you want to make it happen, it will. So even though there's a refusal, I want to let you know that you can go back and rework yourself. Find out what happened. Why didn't they issue the visa? Now, it's always advisable to wait for a period of like 6 months before you reapply. Again, what will you do in that circumstance? You have to reach out to the school and ask the school to defer your admission. Maybe if they give you an admission for July or August, as the case may be, you might ask them to now defer it till November, December, or January. So that will be considered late admission time, but it's also good. All right? So don't be intimidated that, oh, I didn't get it and everything is bad. No. That is done when you have to show your strength. You have to show your determination, okay? That whatever be the case, you are able to overcome it, okay? So you have the opportunity to reapply in the event of a refusal, which I don't pray for you. But it's also necessary that you have it at the back of your mind. Now, if it goes well, all well and good, we are grateful. We are grateful to God. But if in the event that there's a denial there are some issues that, okay, we're not sure, okay, you got to bring, more information as the case. Sometimes they will ask you to bring more information. Sometimes it is outright refusal. If it is outright refusal, you don't have to worry yourself. Go back, take a deep breath, and then rework yourself. But it's always good to come in within a 6-month gap. All right? And I'm sure that at the second time, as the case may be, you're going to be successful. Okay? So I will be stopping here. And I know that all the information that have been great. In my next video, I will talk about the benefits of a student visa, F1 visa. And also whether if you have children or if you have dependents, whether they can join you. I will deal with that in my next video. So until I come your way again, you can reach me. You have my emails. I put out my email there. I put out my phone number. You can follow me. You can share, like, and comment. Follow me on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and Facebook. I know it's been a wonderful time with you. Thank you. Sometime in the future, before long, I wish to be coming live. But for now, I am building up the page, and your comments will go a long way in helping me to accomplish that. Thank you for listening, and bye for now.